Picture this. You're at the spa, right? You've just had an amazing massage.
All right.
And the scent of lavender is just kind of wafting through the air. You're feeling so relaxed. You're totally zen.
Or bliss.
But then your stomach starts rumbling.
Oh, yeah.
And it's time to head to the dining area.
Right.
You're expecting, a haven of healthy and delicious options.
Of course, yeah.
But then you're confronted with a menu full of temptations.
Oh, the struggle is real.
Yeah. Those temptations that could totally derail all that wellness you've been cultivating.
It's like a fork in the road of your spa journey.
It is. Have you ever experienced that?
Absolutely. It's such a common experience, and it's almost a little ironic, isn't it? You're investing all this time and energy into feeling your best.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're faced with decisions that could undermine that entire effort.
Right, exactly. So in this deep dive, we're going to explore how to make those spa menus work for you. Not against you. We want to help you boost your well-being through those food choices you're making while you're there.
Absolutely.
We've got some fantastic insights from an article in Spavelous online magazine. It's called Eating Clean During Spa Vacation.
Oh, that sounds like a great resource.
It is. And we're also going to be incorporating some really interesting perspectives on mindful eating.
I'm intrigued.
So our mission here is to show you how to eat clean, but without feeling like you're missing out.
That's key. Yeah.
Yeah. And also why paying attention to how you eat is so crucial for getting the most out of your spa time.
It's all about that awareness.
It is. One of the things that struck me right away in that Spavelous article is how it acknowledges that just because a place calls itself a spa doesn't necessarily mean their food is automatically healthy.
Yeah, that's such an important point. It's like they're setting realistic expectations from the get-go.
They are. So they really dive into this concept of eating clean within a spa setting. And they emphasize that it's not about being on some super restrictive diet.
Right. It's not about deprivation.
No, it's more about being mindful and making intentional choices, choosing foods that align with how you want to feel while you're there.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's about supporting that sense of well-being you're cultivating.
Exactly. And it's about fueling yourself with whole, unprocessed foods as much as possible.
So what kind of foods are we talking about here specifically?
Well, the article gives some great examples, like focusing on fresh fruits and vegetables.
Always a good starting point.
Right. And then incorporating whole grains like quinoa and farro.
Those are excellent choices packed with fiber and nutrients.
They are. And they provide that sustained energy that can be really helpful, especially if you're doing a lot of activities or treatments at the spa.
Right. You don't want to be hit with those energy crashes.
No, exactly. And of course, you want to include lean proteins.
Of course.
So things like grilled fish, or if you're more plant-based, tofu, legumes.
Lots of great options there.
Yeah, and then healthy fats.
Can't forget those.
No, so avocados, olive oil, nuts and seeds.
What's really interesting about all of these foods is that they're not just good for you in a general sense.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, they're actually particularly beneficial in a spa context because they're rich in micronutrients and antioxidants,
Oh, right.
which can actually enhance the relaxation and detoxification processes that your body naturally undergoes during a spa retreat.
Oh, so it's like you're really supporting your body's own efforts to rejuvenate.
Exactly. You're giving it the tools it needs to thrive.
That's amazing. And the article makes another really good point.
What's that?
Don't be afraid to be curious about the menu.
Oh, I love that. Ask questions.
Yeah, ask where the ingredients are sourced from, how things are prepared.
Be an informed diner.
Exactly. Like if a dish description sounds a little vague or maybe a little too indulgent,
Right.
it's perfectly fine to ask for more details.
That proactive questioning is so empowering. You're taking charge of your own well-being.
You are. And I think if a spa is truly committed to your health and well-being,
Well,
they should welcome those questions and be transparent about their culinary practices.
it's a sign that they're walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Right. Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the connection between eating clean and mindful eating.
I'm all ears.
So the article uses this great analogy. It says mindful eating is like the big umbrella,
Okay.
and clean eating is one of the brightest parts underneath that umbrella.
I like that.
What makes that connection so powerful, in your opinion?
Well, I think it's the intentionality that both of these approaches share. Mindful eating is all about bringing awareness to the act of eating.
Right, slowing down.
Yeah, paying attention. And that awareness makes clean eating not just a set of rules to follow, but a much more intuitive and enjoyable way to nourish yourself, especially when you're in an environment like a spa that's all about calm and self-care.
Right, because you're already in that mindset.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is that mindfulness can actually shift your cravings over time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those nourishing choices actually start to become more appealing
No,
naturally.
it's not just about willpower.
Not at all.
Yeah,
It's about cultivating a deeper connection with your body and its needs.
I love that. So how does this actually look in practice?
Let's get practical.
Yeah, the article highlights some really practical techniques for mindful eating.
Okay, like what?
Like one of the most basic ones, but one that we often forget.
Yeah.
Eating slowly and chewing your food thoroughly.
Oh, we all know we should do it.
We do, but how often do we actually do it?
Not often enough.
Right,
But it's so important. It's not just about being polite.
right.
Thorough chewing actually aids digestion significantly.
Makes sense.
It allows your body to break down the food more efficiently, absorb those nutrients better, and it even helps release hormones that signal satiety.
So you feel fuller sooner.
Exactly. And you're more likely to stop eating when you're actually comfortably satisfied.
Right, which is what we want.
Precisely.
And mindful eating isn't just about the mechanics of chewing.
No, it's a much deeper practice.
It's about tuning into those hunger and fullness cues that our bodies are constantly sending us.
Being present with the experience.
Yeah, like asking yourself, am I actually physically hungry right now? Or am I just eating out of habit? Or maybe boredom.
Yeah, or stress.
Yeah, and on the other end of the spectrum, am I stopping when I feel comfortably full?
Right. Or am I just mindlessly pushing past that point?
Yeah, because we've all been there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think in our everyday lives, we're so often just rushing through meals.
All day tasking.
Yeah, completely disconnected from those subtle cues that our bodies are giving us.
So a spa environment can be a really great opportunity to reset that.
It's like hitting the pause button,
Yeah, and really recalibrate and start listening to what your body's actually saying.
tuning back in.
Yeah, the article also emphasizes engaging all of your senses with your food.
Oh, I love that.
Like really noticing the colors, the aromas, the textures.
Savoring every aspect.
Yeah, it really elevates eating from just a basic necessity
Yeah,
to a much more present and enjoyable experience.
absolutely. And when you're truly present with your food, you're not just fueling your body.
Right.
You're engaging in this multi-sensory experience that can be incredibly satisfying.
And it can also help you appreciate the quality and freshness of the ingredients more,
Absolutely. You start to notice the nuances of flavor, the textures.
which often aligns with that clean eating approach, right?
Yeah.
Because you're choosing those whole unprocessed foods.
Exactly. It all comes together beautifully.
Okay, so we've talked about the theory and the principles. Let's get down to brass tacks. How do we actually navigate those spa menus in a way that supports our clean eating goals?
Let's strategize.
Yeah. The article gives some really helpful pointers. What are some of the key things to look for on those menus?
Well, I think the first piece of advice is to prioritize dishes with simple whole ingredients.
Okay, back to basics.
Exactly. You want to look for preparations that are grilled, steamed, baked, or even raw,
Okay.
because those methods tend to preserve the nutritional integrity of the food without adding a lot of excess fats or processed elements.
Right, so you're getting the most out of those ingredients.
Absolutely. And then, another great tip is to look for vegetable-forward options.
So dishes where the vegetables are the star of the show.
Exactly. And dishes that highlight organic, local, or seasonal produce.
So you're getting that freshness and that vibrancy.
Precisely. And what's really insightful about these types of preparations is that they often allow the natural flavors of the ingredients to shine through.
Oh, that's a good point.
So you're not relying on heavy sauces or seasonings to make the food taste good.
You're tasting the essence of the food itself.
Exactly. It's a much more authentic culinary experience.
I like that. So on the flip side, what are some of the things that the article suggests we might want to approach with a little more caution?
Okay, so the red flags.
Yeah, like what should we be looking out for?
Well, heavy sauces and creamy dressings can be a little bit sneaky.
How so?
They can be surprisingly high in calories, unhealthy fats, and added sugars.
Oh, right, because they sound so innocent.
They do, but they can really add up.
And it's so easy to overdo it with those. You just kind of keep pouring it on.
Exactly, and before you know it, you've consumed a whole day's worth of calories in just one dressing.
Okay, so heavy sauces, watch out. What else?
Deep-fried foods are another one to be mindful of.
Yeah, because they're usually cooked in those unhealthy oils.
Right, and they can just kind of weigh you down and make you feel sluggish.
Which is the opposite of what you want at a spa.
Exactly. You want to feel light and energized.
Right, revitalized. Okay, so deep fried foods off the list. What else?
It's also a good idea to be mindful of refined grains.
Okay, like white bread, white rice, that kind of thing.
Exactly. You'll find those in a lot of breads and pastries.
And they can cause those energy spikes and crashes.
Yeah, they can really mess with your blood sugar levels.
Which, again, is not conducive to that sense of well-being that you're trying to cultivate.
Right. And then there's this big one that the article really emphasizes.
Oh, what's that?
Those detox drinks that sound so healthy and appealing.
Oh, yeah, but they can be misleading.
They can. Because a lot of them are actually loaded with hidden sugars.
Right, they're basically just sugar bombs in disguise.
Yeah, and the article really stresses the importance of reading those nutrition labels carefully.
Because just because something's marketed as healthy doesn't necessarily mean that it is.
Absolutely. It's all about being an informed consumer.
Right. And, often the most truly detoxifying beverage is simply water.
Yeah, plain and simple.
Maybe with a little bit of fresh fruit or herbs added for flavor.
Like a cucumber slice or sprig of mint.
Yeah, that sounds refreshing. And it hydrates you effectively without those added sugars or artificial ingredients.
And it's much gentler on your system overall.
Right. Okay. So we've talked about what to look for and what to avoid. The article also offers this really helpful little mantra to keep in mind.
I love a good mantra. What is it?
It says, before you make a food choice, ask yourself, does this nourish me or numb me?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
I think it's such a powerful question.
Yeah.
It encourages you to really consider the intention behind your eating.
Uh-huh.
Like, are you genuinely seeking nourishment and sustained energy? Or are you looking for a temporary distraction or comfort
Yeah.
that might leave you feeling less good in the long run?
Right. It's about getting to the root of why you're reaching for that particular food.
Exactly. It's about conscious eating.
So, I think for some people, the term clean eating can conjure up these images of restriction and deprivation.
Yeah, like you're missing out on all the good stuff.
Exactly. But the article makes a really important distinction. It's not about denying yourself pleasure.
No, it's about finding pleasure in nourishing choices.
Right. And mindful eating, in particular, really embraces the enjoyment of food.
Absolutely. It's about savoring every bite, being fully present with the experience.
And the key is being intentional about your indulgences.
Right. Choosing those treats that truly bring you satisfaction.
And savoring them fully without guilt or discomfort afterwards.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance.
And the author gives some great examples, like maybe enjoying a small piece of high-quality dark chocolate after a relaxing treatment.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Or maybe having a glass of organic wine while watching the sunset.
Those are perfect examples of mindful indulgence.
And those are totally in line with the spirit of a spa retreat, right?
Yeah.
It's about avoiding that autopilot vacation mode where you're just mindlessly eating everything in sight.
Right, because that can really take away from the whole experience.
It can. There's this really relatable example in the article. The author talks about finding these candied pecans in the minibar.
Oh, the temptation.
I know. And she's like, I could so easily just devour these without even thinking.
Oh, yeah, we've all been there.
But she catches herself, and she makes this conscious decision to choose a sunset walk instead.
I love that. It's such a great illustration of tuning into what you truly need in that moment.
It is, and sometimes what you need is not a handful of candied pecans.
Sometimes it's a beautiful sunset and some fresh air.
Exactly. So to give us some concrete ideas, the article provides some delicious sounding examples of clean meals that would be perfect for a spa setting.
Okay, let's hear them. I'm getting hungry.
Me too. So for breakfast, they suggest a vibrant green smoothie bowl.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, topped with creamy almond butter and chia seeds for that extra boost of nutrients and energy.
This sounds amazing.
And then for lunch, how about a colorful grilled vegetable quinoa salad?
Oh, that's light and refreshing.
It is, and you could drizzle it with a zesty lemon tahini dressing.
Yeah.
And then for a simple and satisfying snack, they suggest sliced cucumbers with hummus.
Oh, that's a classic.
It is. Or you could make your own trail mix with nuts and seeds.
That's a great idea.
And then for dinner, imagine flaky wild salmon.
Oh, my favorite.
Served over a bed of sautéed greens alongside some roasted sweet potatoes.
That sounds like the perfect spa dinner.
It does. And then for a light and refreshing dessert, they recommend a coconut milk chia pudding with fresh berries.
That's a great way to satisfy your sweet tooth without overdoing it.
It is. And I love the simple visual that the article offers. They say, if it looks like it belongs in a garden, it probably belongs on your plate.
I love that. That's so simple and intuitive.
It is. It really emphasizes those whole plant-based foods that are often at the heart of a clean and nourishing eating approach.
It's a great guideline to keep in mind.
Okay, so we're armed with all this knowledge about how to make good choices. But what about the practical side of things?
The real-world application.
Yeah, like how do we actually stay on track during our spa getaway without feeling like we're being overly rigid or obsessed with perfection?
Right, because that can defeat the whole purpose of relaxation.
It can. So the article stresses the importance of flexibility.
Oh, that's so important.
It is. They point out that this isn't about achieving some unattainable ideal.
No, it's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly. And there might be situations where the absolute cleanest option just isn't available.
Right, like if you're at a restaurant that doesn't have many healthy choices.
Yeah. And in those moments, it's okay to just make the best possible choice you can.
Right, don't beat yourself up about it.
And then another really key point is hydration.
Oh, that's crucial, especially at a spa.
It is. And the article emphasizes that it's especially important during spa treatments because those can sometimes be dehydrating.
Oh, that's a good point.
And they even suggest a simple way to make drinking water more appealing.
What's that?
Adding slices of lemon or cucumber to your water.
Oh, that's a great idea. Makes it more spa-like.
It does.
Yeah.
And it just encourages you to drink more.
Because staying well hydrated is so important for all of your body's functions.
It is. And it can even help with managing those hunger cues.
That's right. Sometimes we think we're hungry when we're actually just thirsty.
Exactly. And then there's this gentle reminder in the article to practice phone-free eating.
Oh, I love that.
Because even in a relaxing spa environment, it can be tempting to just scroll through our phones during meals.
Oh, it's such a habit.
It is. But when you do that, it really takes away from that mindful connection with your food.
Absolutely. You're not fully present with the experience.
Right. And you're more likely to overeat or make choices that you wouldn't normally make.
And you miss out on the pleasure of savoring your food.
Exactly. So put those phones away and just enjoy the experience of eating.
Be in the moment.
Yeah, and then the article offers this really insightful suggestion about exploring cravings with curiosity.
Ooh, I like that. Tell me more.
So instead of just immediately giving in to a craving, take a moment to ask yourself why you're craving that particular food.
Oh, that's a great idea.
It is, because often what we perceive as a food craving is actually our body signaling a different need.
Yeah, like maybe you're actually tired or stressed or needing some comfort.
Exactly. And if you can address that underlying need directly, it's going to be much more satisfying and beneficial in the long run than just giving in to the craving.
It's like addressing the root cause instead of just treating the symptom.
Exactly. So we've talked about what to eat, how to eat, but let's zoom out for a second and talk about the bigger picture.
Okay, the big picture.
How does all of this actually enhance the overall spa experience?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is. And the article makes a really compelling argument that it goes beyond just the physical benefits.
Okay, so what are we talking about here?
Well, they say that when your food choices are in alignment with your intentions for the retreat,
Uh-huh.
which are usually to rest, rejuvenate, reconnect with yourself,
Yeah, that makes sense.
it creates this sense of inner harmony and integrity.
Like you're honoring yourself on all levels.
Exactly. It's about nourishing yourself on multiple levels, body, mind, and spirit.
I love that. It's a holistic approach to well-being.
It is. And the article talks about how eating clean and mindfully can lead to feeling more energized, more present in your experience, and even a greater sense of gratitude.
Those are all wonderful benefits.
They are. And I love this line from the article. It says, you become more authentically yourself.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It is. It really highlights how these practices can help you connect with your true self.
It's like peeling away the layers and revealing the best version of yourself.
I like that. So, to wrap things up, the article addresses some common questions that people have about eating clean while at a spa.
Okay, let's tackle this.
One of the first questions is, are clean food options a given at all spas?
That's a good question.
It is. And unfortunately, the answer isn't a universal yes.
Okay.
While many wellness-focused retreats definitely prioritize healthy cuisine, the offerings can vary quite a bit across different types of spas.
So it's important to do your research.
It is. And the article gives some really practical advice. They say, call ahead or check the menu online before you book your stay.
That's a great tip.
It is. That way you can make sure that the spa's culinary philosophy aligns with your needs and preferences.
And you can avoid any surprises.
Right, exactly. And then another common question is, can you still indulge in a treat here and there and maintain a generally clean approach?
That's the balance we were talking about earlier.
It is, and the answer is absolutely yes.
Okay, good.
It's not about being restrictive.
No, it's about being mindful.
Exactly. So if there's something on the menu that you really want to try, go for it.
Enjoy it fully.
But just be mindful of portion sizes and the frequency with which you're indulging.
Right. It's all about moderation.
It is.
Yeah.
And then for anyone with specific dietary needs like food sensitivities or allergies, what's the recommended approach when visiting a spa?
That's an important consideration.
It is. And the article suggests that most higher-end spas are well-equipped to handle various dietary requirements.
That's reassuring.
It is. But they emphasize the importance of clear and proactive communication.
So let them know your needs in advance.
Exactly. Don't hesitate to inform the spa staff about any dietary restrictions or preferences you have before you arrive.
To be specific.
Yes. The more information you can provide them, the better they can accommodate your needs.
And it's interesting to note that clean eating often naturally aligns well with many common allergy-friendly diets.
Oh, how so?
Well, because it emphasizes whole, unprocessed foods.
Right, so you're avoiding a lot of those common allergens.
Exactly. So
Right.
it can be a really good fit for people with dietary restrictions.
Okay, and then the final question that the article addresses is how to integrate these healthy habits back into your daily life after you leave the spa.
That's the real challenge, right?
It is. It's easy to maintain those healthy habits when you're in this beautiful, supportive environment.
Right, where everything is geared towards well-being.
But how do you translate that back to the real world?
It's about finding ways to make it sustainable.
And the article suggests that the most important step is to really pay attention to how you feel when you're eating clean and mindfully at the spa.
So tune into those positive effects.
Exactly. Like, notice how much more energy you have, how much better you sleep, how much clearer your mind feels.
And then try to recreate those experiences at home
Yeah, start experimenting with some of those spa-inspired meals in your own kitchen.
and see what works for you.
Exactly. And as you do that, your body will naturally start to gravitate towards the foods that make you feel good.
It's about listening to your body's wisdom.
It is. So, to sum it all up, the key takeaway here is that your food choices during a spa vacation aren't just a minor detail.
No, they're an integral part of the experience.
They are. They're an opportunity for self-care.
And they can profoundly enhance your overall well-being.
It's about being present with what you're eating, honoring your body's needs.
And making choices that support your overall health and happiness.
Exactly. And as the Spavelous article so eloquently puts it, let your food choices during this special time be a tangible expression of your care and respect for yourself.
I love that.
And consider how that feeling of nourished well-being can continue to inform your eating habits long after you've returned home.
It's like a ripple effect.
It is. It's about making those choices that send a loving message to your body.
With every bite.
And those choices, those messages, they can resonate far beyond the spa walls.
Absolutely. They can transform your relationship with food and with yourself.
And isn't that what it's all about?
That's the ultimate goal.